Ha ha! Stan! Here we are in the man cave. It's Saturday, so I'm allowed to have a beer. Anyway, on cat duty. Make sure nothing's happened to them. Right, okay, so might be a long video this. So if you want real militaria, historical accuracy, and all the other things you would get from more professional channels, I suggest you switch off. So I'm just using this as an excuse to talk, because I do like talking. My dad used to say that about me when he worked with me. I was talking to you, instead of getting on with your job. Although anyone watching from my current job, I never talk at work and I always get on with what I'm going to get on with. Anyway, right, where are we? So this will be explained in a minute. First of all, I have had 2 parcels today from fellow YouTubers. What's on in the background? I can't see it, can you? I'll put it down for now. It'll be more relevant in a minute. First up, what's in the box? What's in the box? The head man, commanding officer of the Combined Forces Living History Group, Andrew Johnson, top bloke, has sent me a box of this and that. So, first of all, he has sent me not 1, but 2 DDR sports badges. Now, I'm not going to do a review of them yet, because these are going to go very nice. I was actually after one because I've got a photograph on I was going to bring my iPad in and show you, but it looks like an early 60s photograph, 2 DDR border guards in the more sort of parade jacket type uniforms with black collars, and I believe that stopped mid 60s and they went like all grey, and they have DDR sports badge on his right breast, and he has PPSH 41 with mag pouch. I've got the mag pouch now, but it's my birthday coming up next week, so I can't have it till then. And cats, just wait a minute, thank you. Yeah, I've got the mag pouch. I've got another helmet already for my birthday. A wee pile of presents for myself. Don't spend too much, my wife said. Anyway, what's that on the floor? It's this cat's leaving crap everywhere. Right, so where were we? Yeah, got the mag pouch, I've got the helmet, and the whole setup will be correct. These 2 dudes look really serious in their sunglasses in the photograph. I think someone wants to come and say hello. Oh, hang on. Come here. He's the cat. They're on the little leads, you see, so they can't come in and out. Hello, say hello. Right, off you go. Right, back to our box of stuff. So if you can see in there, Andrew sent me a load of bits of this and that, and he wasn't sure himself what some of them were. I asked John Shanahan today, he phoned me, and these in particular. And John thinks they are Polish rank insignia. Also in here there is a what John said was a rocketeer. I think looking at it now, that's something to do with the mines. Or fire brigade. I want it for these cats are doing my head in. 2 seconds, I have to pause. Back. The other things in here, I'm not sure what that one is. A button. So it's not focusing this camera, is it? A button anyway. So, and these 2 items, I don't know what these are. I thought they were both S's. They're not. Anyone know what they are? Don't know. Some East German pips, different types. So I mean, these things are really handy. The DDR sports badges are going straight on the mannequin when I change it next week from a Russian Liberation Army thing to a East German border guard again, and it'll be near enough complete. And I don't do complete though. So this, the reason I've got on the buses on in the background is because I do like it. And also this is a top tunic I've been sent, and a cap, and I'll show you the cap, by my good friend and lover of the DDR, Jim Timber 2. And Jim sent me this, and it was another one of those sagas when you start sending stuff to people. He got it on eBay, thought the guy was posting it from Manchester, and he actually sent it from Poland, so it took a while to get it. It's finally here now. Even though it's boiling hot, I'll put it on and see what this Postman's tunic looks like as a top drinking tunic. And we are drinking it there, so we're allowed to do it. So we go, oh, hey, there we go. I'm fully on the buses. I feel like saying, cool, stay, look at that crampy, cool. You know, it was a bad impersonation, but I'm more like him there. Arthur, the husband, bald. Anyway, this has, you always check the pockets, don't you? This was in the pocket. So, my friend from Poland, who I work with, I phoned him this morning and asked him to tell me what this says on here. So, where are we now? I can't remember which is which. You can see that. So, let's have a look, return the item. So this is by a company called Modus, and I do believe if I open the thing up, there you go, Modus, they're still on the go, and they make policemen's uniforms, postmen, firemen, all that sort of carry on, and they started the company in 1945, so just after the war. Now I'm getting a bit mixed up here with which one's which regarding what is on the tunic. I might have to take it back off again. So this ticket here, it is number order of 6. Right, okay, so this is the first one. So this says on here, it's the town Zaklad, I can't make out what that bit is. And it's service uniform, or male uniform. And he said it says for radio connection. Like he thought military signals, or this is a postman's uniform, but it must be something to do with the radio side of it. And radio between units, he said on here. I don't know. Somebody else. Read Polish. Jim Timber. It just says the pattern of the uniform, type material, height, size, waist, number of orders 6, standard price, date. It says something about if you're going to return the uniform. I'll have to take this off now and put that back in the pocket. And I'll show you the thing on the side. So on the side, he says it says, if you return the tunic, if it's incorrect or broken, you give it back within 14 days of issue, but not longer than 1 year from the date of production. So that's what that says on here, apparently. Yeah, it's not focusing, which is absolute bollocks. So yeah, that's quite a, I like the way it's stitched on there. I don't know if that means it's unissued. It probably does mean it's unissued. And yeah, it's a very unusual thing to have, isn't it, really? I mean, I think as well, the style of this, he said, I showed him the photographs, it was advertised as a 1980s or stroke 90s tunic. This is where I'm going to go off on a ramble. Show you the cap. Now the cap, I think, is absolutely brilliant. Does that look like a postman's cap? It doesn't to me. That looks like something Mussolini would have on his head when he stood on the balcony. You know, it's a really nice item. That's staying in here on display permanently. And inside, of course, it doesn't fit me. Well, come on, you've known me long enough now. Size 55. So the jacket fits me. So this fella must have been like a little tiny head and a normal body. See in there, 55. And it's got someone's name. It also says 0892R. So that's probably the 1992. Now, Polish metal eagle, which is very nice. Leather chin strap, which is a really nice touch. And can you see? I hope this focus. It's focused just once. Focus. Oh man, it's not doing it. You can see the bugle of the postal service, and it has a sort of like electric arrow on it, which is the postal symbol. It looks some sort of early fascist symbol from a country. And what my comment on it would be that I worked for the post office I think it's why Jim bought me it, or sent me it. And I started in 1999, and the uniform, there was one guy who had like a cap like this, the old-fashioned Royal Mail one. It was all like jacks off on the buses, or a Wehrmacht officer. But the uniforms were very different in the 1980s and 90s in this country. They just weren't anything like this, not as dressy as these at all. And when I started, you had to wear a tie in the winter, and you could only wear brown or black shoes. And then after a couple of years, I must have come in just at the end of all this business, and the standards went a little bit. You didn't have to wear a tie anymore, etc., etc., etc. And it made me think about me and my friend at work talked about this, that the best way to describe it is, if you look at old films of Britain, you'll see a postman dressed in a black uniform, silver buttons, sort of thing. You'll see a police officer the same, a fireman, the security guard, someone working for the rail. They all looked very similar. They all had different jobs, but all dealing with the public. And I suppose it was like one standard thing of, if you remember the public, you see someone in authority, they've got usually a black uniform on, whatever. I mean, it probably isn't as simple as that, but you understand what I'm saying. Now, police officers now all have stab vests on them and things hanging off them. Postmen wear fluorescent clothes and cargo pants. Firemen, again, I wouldn't be sure what a fireman looks like in uniform. Probably just very, very similar, more casual wear. And I often wonder that. I mean, I know when I started, I know that like Andrew's still a postman, that you had to sign. I think it was the Official Secrets Act. You had to sign something to say you wouldn't say anything, because obviously you're carrying people's mail. You might say something you shouldn't. And while I was there 4 years, there was a couple of people who got sacked for stealing or doing inappropriate things. And they had again, I don't know if this is still the case now, they had I think they're called the IB, investigation branch, like their own sort of security service, if you like. And they would sometimes wait for you in the morning, and if you had a letter in your bag from the day before, you were willfully withholding mail, and you were in trouble. So I don't know if that's still the same now. All I can say is that I remember reading about possible privatisation in the post. Well, I think, is it privatised now? I can't remember. But I just thought to myself, we were told when we got inducted, to keep an eye out for old people, be part of like the community, if you like, along the line. It was something along them lines. I certainly got asked for directions in the street, and on more than one occasion, go to an old lady's house or an old person's house, and the keys are in the front door. Obviously, if you privatise something, like I'm trying to think of an example. Well, there's a lot of delivery drivers now just throw your parcel over the fence, don't they, when it's peeing down, whatever. You don't necessarily always get the better people. I seem to recall that somebody said while they were in the post office they started in the 70s, they used to like to employ ex-service people simply because of their track record of reliability, if you want. Loads of times I'd go and go to an older person's house, and they'd go, "Oh, I'll get me pen if I will sign something. I've got a pen," and they'll leave the purse. They'll leave the purse right near the door. It's be careful with things like that, I suppose. One old lady used to often shave. She had like shaving foam on her face with a budgie sat on her shoulder. I'm not joking, honestly. But anyway, this is a very nice uniform, tunic, from my friend Jim Timber, and it's really pleased with it. My friend, who is Polish, who I work with, his grandfather was in the German army, and I think he was born in Danzig, and he was a forced labourer. When they found out he was born in Danzig, they made him sign up. He gets German citizenship, apparently. And all he knew of his granddad was, after the war, his grandmother knocked on the door, and it was one of his fellow soldiers, his compatriot, and he had a load of stuff for a documentation, etc. His ID pass stuff, and he said that it was either just after Monte Cassino or Anzio, around all that time in Italy, and they'd fled. He said, "We tried to get away," and he was killed. So here's all his documentation, and she burnt it all, barring a photograph out of his ID, because the Soviets were in charge at this point, and you don't want to have Iron Cross second class hanging from a photograph to you, if you get me drift. And he said that she never admitted that he was dead and was looking for him after the war, etc., etc., etc. Now, he said that he was buried in Italy. That's all he knew. So I was talking to him the week, and I said, "Well, I've got some websites I can go on and have a look." Now, his name was Jan Skepansky. So I went on the Volksbund website, which is German war graves. And I typed in Jan Szczepanski, nothing came up, so I just put in the second name, and it came up, loads of them. There was two Johann Szczepanskis. One of them died late 44, the other one died 13th of June. I'm looking for my notes, 44, and he was buried in Italy. 157 kilometres away from Monte Cassino, but not far from Anzio, between Anzio and Rome. He was a cannoneer, and the place he was buried is Pomezia in the German soldiers' graveyard. Now, he did tell me, my friend at work, that his father was named a German name during the war, and he wasn't allowed to change it till he was 18, so long after the war finished. So I thought, well, Germanisation of surnames or names, maybe Jan was Johann. And I sent my friend the two that I thought were most likely, and he messaged me back and went, basically, you're kidding me. I have the photograph of him out of his ID pass, and his date of birth written on the back, and the date of birth of the first guy I'd sent him, 28th of May 1912, is the same as his grandfather's. So this is, if World War Will is watching, I've tried to message you on the forum, but I can't. I'm having trouble navigating it, so I need to find out if he's got a casualty card. So that will be interesting to, I am thinking I've asked him, I was wondering if anyone thought it'd be a good idea, whether it'd be interesting. He's my age, or he's a year or two younger than me. Served in the Polish Army, National Service, just after the communist period, but was brought up in communist Poland. Now, I know that maybe some people know all about this. I certainly don't. And he's a very interesting guy to talk to. He tells you about people's recollections of the war. And he was brought up in one of those communist blocks, like tower blocks that don't exist. Well, they probably do exist in this country, but a very different life. Very interesting lad to talk to, and I want to interview him on my channel. I think I will, actually. Yeah, so also today, what was I on about earlier on? I did speak to Aeromotive Collectibles, John Chan, and we were talking about the King's Cross fire, and I watched a second Swim disaster show on YouTube, and he said, oh, there was the ferry, Herald of Free Enterprise. I went, oh yeah, but I said, I remember another one, and so you get in your back of your mind, and I researched it, just Googled it. But when I was in Germany in '89, I recall there was a mid-North Sea collision. A few people died, and they towed the ship, or sailed the ship into Bremerhaven. And I think they parked it so you couldn't see the damage. I was reading about it today. 3 people died, and one fella was sat on the deck when the ship hit a container ship. So it was a ferry, and he was catapulted, a 60-odd-year-old, off the ship onto the other one. And his family didn't know where he was. I think he survived him, but yeah, there you go. I don't know why I'm talking about that, but yeah. So, to recap, the box of goodies for Andrew Johnston, which are very, very welcome. Anybody sends me anything, I always find a use for it, and make sure that they are most welcome in my collection. Jim Timber, top bloke tunic, is a top drinking tunic. Not today, it's too warm, but his visor cap's great. I don't think anybody could come in here and go, I know what that is. I could tell them exactly what it could be anything, couldn't it? I'll say it's anything. So, stop talking. I'm running out of things to say. So, this is Stan. This is the Man Cave. And I've got exactly 1 hour and 45 minutes before wife comes home. And we all know how much she comes home. Fun is over. See ya.